Okay, picture this. Your eyes flutter open. You can see your room, right? You can hear stuff from outside. You are definitely awake. But there's a huge problem. You can't move. Not a finger, not a toe. You are just completely and utterly trapped inside your own body. So, does that sound familiar? If it does, trust me, you are not alone. It's a genuinely terrifying experience that millions of people have gone through. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and figure out what is actually happening.
Yeah, these are the classic signs, aren't they? That feeling of being totally pinned down, this crushing weight on your chest, and that overwhelming primal fear that someone else is in the room with you. You know, for centuries, people were convinced this was demons or ghosts. But the real story? Well, it's way more fascinating.
So what is actually happening here? Well, at its core, sleep paralysis is just a moment where things get out of sync. It's like your brain flips the awake switch for your mind, but it totally forgets to send the memo to your body. Really, you can think of it like a little glitch in the system, a biological misfire. It doesn't mean something's wrong with you, and it is definitely not supernatural. It's actually a normal, protective part of sleep that's just happening at exactly the wrong time.
And this all comes down to something called REM atonia. See, during REM sleep, that's when you're dreaming, your brain paralyzes your muscles. Why? To stop you from, literally running around or punching a wall in your sleep. It's a safety feature. So sleep paralysis is just you waking up a split second before that safety feature gets switched off.
Okay, so if it's just a simple glitch, why is it so unbelievably terrifying? And why do people see things? Right, let's break it down. We're going to walk through exactly how your own brain builds these monsters from scratch. So the second your conscious mind realizes, hey, I'm awake, but I can't move, it does exactly what it's hardwired to do when it feels trapped and vulnerable. It panics. And there's one specific part of the brain that just takes over. We're talking about your amygdala, your brain's little alarm system. It just goes into total overdrive. It starts screaming, danger, danger, even though there's absolutely nothing there. And this is the crucial part. That feeling of an ominous presence, that sense that someone's there, that comes first. It's created entirely by this internal alarm. Your brain is expecting a threat before one even exists. See, your brain is basically a pattern-matching machine. It absolutely hates a mystery. It needs to find a cause for every feeling. So it takes that paralysis, that intense fear blasting from the amygdala, and it asks a question, what kind of predator causes this feeling? And then its software kicks in and creates a hallucination to perfectly match that feeling of terror. And this isn't just some random thing. It's a well-known neurological event. It's so common, in fact, that it has a name, an intruder hallucination. It's literally your brain's pattern-matching software working overtime, desperately trying to put a face to this faceless terror it's feeling. So that shadow you see in the corner? Yeah, that's just your brain trying to find a signal in the noise of its own fear. Now, this exact same process of misinterpretation explains that other really common part of the experience, the feeling of being crushed. Here's what's happening. During REM sleep, your breathing is naturally really slow and shallow, but your waking, panicked mind has no idea what to make of this. It decides something has to be pressing down on you, and that's what creates that heavy, suffocating feeling. So how does all this lead to seeing specific things, like actual figures? Well, the basic biological experience is the same for everyone, right? The paralysis, the fear, the pressure on your chest. But the story our brain tells us to explain it, the monster it cooks up, that's deeply personal and shaped by our culture. Your brain doesn't just invent these things out of thin air. It pulls from a mental library of all the scary things you know. Centuries ago, that library was full of demons and witches and folklore. Today, it's probably pulling from horror movies or sci-fi shows, creating shadow people or even aliens. The intruder is basically a reflection of your culture's own personal boogeyman. So, the crucial point here is, it's all an internal show. Yeah, it's a powerful, hyper-realistic, and absolutely terrifying show, but it's happening entirely inside your head. It's just a perfect storm of your own fear response, some leftover dream stuff, and that temporary paralysis. Look, just understanding the science is a huge first step to taking the fear away. So now, let's get practical. Let's look at some real ways you can manage this experience and maybe even stop it from happening so often. Okay, since sleep paralysis is basically a glitch in your sleep cycle, the best prevention is just good sleep hygiene. Seriously, it all comes down to good habits. Keeping a consistent schedule, making sure you get 7 to 9 hours, managing your stress. Oh, and here's an interesting one. A lot of people report it happens way less when they sleep on their side instead of on their back. But what if you find yourself right in the middle of an episode? The worst thing you can possibly do is fight it. That just feeds the fear. Instead, try to relax. Just remind yourself what's going on. Focus on your breathing, and then try to make one tiny little movement. Wiggle a finger, wiggle a toe. Sometimes that tiny action is enough to break the circuit and snap your body out of it. And this right here, this is your most powerful weapon. It's a mental mantra. Repeating this to yourself when it's happening isn't just a distraction. It's a way to force your rational mind back into the driver's seat and take control back from that panicked amygdala. The moment you label the experience for what it is, oh, this is just a brain glitch, you strip it of all its supernatural power. The fear starts to fade. And when the fear goes away, your brain has no reason to keep projecting that hallucination. It's true what they say, knowledge really is power. And here's a final thought for you. Some people actually learn to recognize when sleep paralysis is starting. And instead of fear, they feel curiosity. They use that weird state, that place between waking and sleeping, as a launch pad for lucid dreaming, where they can actually control the dream. So it makes you wonder, right? Once you get past the fear, what else could this strange state of mind make possible?